So I saw Shazam last night and I want to talk about it. Shazam is not your everyday run-of-the-mill superhero movie. Shazam is not just good or okay, it is something extraordinarily unique and it is full of heart and emotion. I expected the film to be good and to have a fun time with it, but what I got was much better. Shazam is brilliant, it is perfect, and here is why. The vast range of emotions in this movie is incredible. It's hilarious, fun, goofy, but most of all, it's touching. Going into Shazam, I didn't expect to leave the theatre having felt all these emotions. At times during the film, I felt like I was transported back to my childhood, watching the Sam Raimi Spider-Man for the first time. With the perfect amount of goof, realism and childish charm blended all together into one. For the entire film I was emotionally invested in the compelling characters and their world. There's so many things I want to say and praise this film on, but I can't really get into without getting into spoilers. But what I can say is it's more about the people and the compelling characters more than the super. And sometimes it's just about two boys who are desperately searching for love. And this is what defines them as characters. One of the biggest things I need to give props to the film is how it shows us what the characters are feeling. It shows us why they do the things they do and why they think the way they think, instead of just telling us in an exposition scene or just telling the audience. It's done expertly. I want to take a second to appreciate the amazing score and music in this film. It blends perfectly with all the scenes, whether it's used for a comedic effect or an action moment. Every single second I felt like the music worked and complemented what was on screen. The pacing in this film is perfect too. Never did I feel like it was too rushed or too slow. It all moved fluently and consistently, and there was never a dull moment. Something Shazam does brilliantly is reminds us that the normal everyday people exist in this crazy superhero universe, and it shows you how a normal person would react to these larger than life people. By the end of the film, you feel like you know Philadelphia. To the average Joe worker, the policeman, the teenagers, and even the gold, red and white superhero himself. All this stuff helps ground the absurd elements of the movie. The stylistic tone in this film is brilliant. It feels like a perfect blend between Spider-Man and Chronicle meets Big. A kid's youthful energy is a huge precedent here, and Zachary Levi pulls off being a kid expertly. There was never a moment I felt like Billy Batson was two different people. When Billy would turn into Shazam, I felt like they were the same person, so Levi did a perfect job as Shazam. What really shocked me and surprised me with this film was how well crafted and engaging Dr. Savannah was. From the trailers, it looked like he was just your one-note, punching bag, superhero's gonna beat him up bad guy. However, that's not the case at all. The film goes out of its way to give us a sympathetic antagonist, who is basically a dark shadowed reflection of Billy Batson himself. What makes Savannah a villain is the same thing that makes Billy a hero. It's their lack of parental love. They both have that connection, and for a superhero movie, that's pretty powerful. The film could have easily been your generic origin story where a young boy becomes a superhero and saves the day. Instead, they chose to tell a powerful story and take their time with it as the character grows into this heroic person. At the start, Billy's a very flawed protagonist. He's not perfect and makes a lot of the wrong decisions. He doesn't have pure intentions or pure of heart, and a lot of his motivations at the beginning of the movie are quite selfish. And he comes off as a bit of a dick. You kind of understand why. He's still lovable and charming, but that's his character arc, learning to open his heart. Instead of having his flaws just disappear when he becomes a superhero, it actually brings him to the forefront, showing off his mindset and how selfish he actually is. And a lot like Peter Parker, he has to go through this Uncle Ben moment where he realises what responsibility he has and that it is up to him to save the world. Shazam is a superhero movie that focuses on the hero elements, but also the humanity elements. It spends time to create compelling characters like his family, who we care about all before Shazam even enters the movie. The film never feels like it's in a rush to get anywhere and wants to take its time with its characters. It doesn't want to jump straight into a cinematic, amazing action sequence. And when Billy does say Shazam for the first time, it leads to some of the best moments of the movie, and it is still just as compelling, funny, and a joy to watch. Shazam is a love letter to the superhero genre and the DC universe. It doesn't feel like another installment in the DC franchise. It stands on its own and it's a huge breath of fresh air. It feels like a pre-MCU movie. Not that I'm knocking the MCU, but it's just original and unique. It's not tied down by other movies that come with it. But yes, it does reference it is in the DC universe, but it uses that to further the story even more and show us how these characters and these children react having these superheroes in their actual world. A lot of the film follows the kids just being kids, and I think that's where the film really shines. With the film's great writing and acting and brilliant directing, it all comes together to create something beautiful. The film just feels genuine, sincere and real all the time. When watching the film, you will see yourself in these kids. You will feel the wide range of emotions from wacky to heartbreak. Sure, maybe the film could have better cinematography or some more engaging action sequences. Maybe the final fight went on just a tad bit too long, but that wasn't the film's focus. The film's focus is the people and their relationships. Sometimes it's just about two orphan kids having a conversation. I urge you, please go and see this film. It perfectly and brilliantly understands why we go and see these movies. It's not for the superpowers or the amazing action sequences, but the people. Shazam focuses on the humanity in all of us, on being dealt a shit hand in life, but overcoming it and rising above it to become someone heroic. Shazam is about accepting yourself and not being afraid to show that. It's about what it means to be super, what it means to say Shazam! And that's why Shazam is a brilliant film.